I'm Adam Rossin, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the elements of DUI manslaughter in Florida. My name's Adam Rossin. I'm the founder of the Rossin Law Firm. We handle criminal and DUI defense cases all throughout South Florida. I'm a former prosecutor. We've handled many of these very serious cases, and we're very proud that we have over 500 five-star reviews between Google, Avvo, and a few other websites. We specialize in helping good people when bad things happen to them. The crime of DUI manslaughter has 5 elements. The first element is driving. These usually are car crash cases, so of course, driving is one of the elements. They have to be behind the wheel. The second element is alcohol, chemical, or controlled substances. The person has to be under the influence of those alcohol, chemical, or controlled substances. The third element is that that person's normal faculties are impaired, or they have a blood or breath alcohol level over the legal limit, which is 0.08. And the last element is causation or contribution to the death of the alleged victim in this case. So let's talk in more detail about these 5 elements. The first one's easy enough, driving. Now, to compare this to a regular DUI, these are always going to be car crash cases because there's a death involved. It could be the death of a pedestrian. It could be, a car versus a pedestrian. It could be car versus car. It could be car versus multiple cars. The prosecutors and the police are going to need to prove that that person, you, loved one, family member, the defendant, it was actually the driver of that vehicle. And we're going to go in more detail into all of these elements in future videos when we talk about defenses, how we defend them, and some legal intricacies with these cases. The second element is under the influence of alcohol, chemical, or controlled substances. So alcohol is the most common way for DUI and DUI manslaughter, but it could also be illegal drugs. It could be marijuana, it could be heroin, it could be cocaine, or it could be prescription medication. It could be Vicodin, Xanax, Soma, Percocet, Ambien is now on that list as well. Or it could be a combination of 2 or 3 medications, illegal drugs, and alcohol, and the synergistic effects of 2 or 3 of those. The third element is prosecutors have to prove that your normal faculties were impaired. An impairment means a diminishment in some material respect. So the prosecutors don't have to prove that somebody was drunk, wasted, fall down, blackout. They just have to prove that the ability to operate the motor vehicle and their other normal faculties were diminished in a material respect. So it does have to be material. It can't just be slight or trivial. The next element is having a blood or breath alcohol level over 0.08 at the time of the crash. Now, on DUI manslaughter cases, we're usually talking blood. I've never seen a DUI manslaughter case in my career that was actually a breath test compared to a regular DUI, where regular DUIs we're talking more about breath tests. And the last element, causation or contribution to the death. Now, there's a big difference between the two. As the law is today in South Florida, or in the state of Florida, the prosecutors only have to prove that you contributed to the person's death. So about 25 years ago, the law said that the prosecutors had to prove that you were the sole proximate cause. And that's no longer. And there's a very big difference between the two. So the way the law currently stands, let's say you were 25% guilty. Then according to the law, you are guilty of DUI manslaughter if the other elements are in play because you contributed to. Technically speaking, if the jury believes that you were a 1% contributor, then they're supposed to find you guilty of DUI manslaughter. Now, it doesn't always work that way, and it's a lot more complicated than that, but that's how easy the state legislature in Florida made it by switching the causation to contribution levels. So way back when, right, 25 years ago, the prosecutors had to prove that it was really your fault, that it was fully your fault. So there's a very big difference in this regard, and it has made it significantly easier to prosecute people and to try to convict people for this crime. Now, in the rest of this video series, we're going to dive deep in the penalties, in the defenses, the court procedures, the investigation process for DUI manslaughter. We're going to go real deep into all the varying things that can happen in this case. This was just an overview, so make sure that you understand the basics, the elements, what the prosecutors and the police need to prove, what they're looking for to kind of check off their boxes to see if they can even have a case against you. You know, these cases are very tough. They're very complicated, they're nuanced. We obviously have a lot of emotions going on in these cases. Somebody has died. Usually our clients in this position have never, ever, ever been in trouble before. But with what you have at stake, which we'll be talking about in the next video, it is essential to hire the right criminal and DUI defense team for you or a loved one on this case. If anybody watching this video has any questions, you can call us at any time. Our phone number is down below. You can find us on our website, rawsonlawfirm.com. We shoot these videos and provide tons of information and data on our website to exactly help people. Make sure that you learn as you're doing research and you really find the team that you trust. What we do is we help good people when bad things happen to them so they can achieve their best future.